when they become parents. Paternal caregiving can be strengthened through contact, responsiveness, and repeated involvement. In simple terms, fathers often bond by doing. The more a father feeds, holds, soothes, bathes, plays with, and responds to a child, the more fatherhood becomes emotionally and biologically reinforced. This is why paternity leave, co-parenting support, and early father involvement matter. When fathers are treated as secondary helpers rather than real parents, they may be less confident and less involved. When they are included early, they often become more competent and emotionally bonded. The maternal instinct debate. The phrase maternal instinct is powerful, but it can be misleading. It suggests that all women naturally know how to parent, and that motherly love is automatic. Many mothers do feel a powerful immediate bond, but others do not. Some experience postpartum depression, anxiety, trauma, exhaustion, ambivalence, or difficulty bonding. That does not mean they are bad mothers. It means motherhood is human, not magical. Likewise, the absence of pregnancy does not mean fathers cannot bond deeply. A father may not carry the child physically, but he can develop powerful attachment through presence, responsibility, sacrifice, and love. So a better phrase may be maternal orientation, rather than maternal instinct. Society often trains girls and women from early life to notice, care, nurture, soothe, and manage relationships. Boys and men are often trained toward independence, toughness, provision, and emotional restraint. These gender norms shape how mothers and fathers express love. In other words, some of what people call natural may actually be a mix of biology and social training. Culture and expectations. Mothers are judged more harshly. One reason mothers may appear more loving is that society demands more visible love from them. A father can be praised for doing ordinary caregiving, changing diapers, taking the child to school, attending a parent-teacher conference. A mother doing the same thing may be treated as simply meeting the minimum requirement. This double standard makes father involvement seem exceptional and mother involvement seem mandatory. Pew has found that in two-parent families, even when both parents work full-time, many parents say day-to-day parenting responsibilities fall more heavily on mothers. Pew's 2023 work on gender and parenting also found differences in how mothers and fathers think about parenting, including that mothers were more likely than fathers to say they were raising their children differently from how they were raised. This suggests that mothers may be more publicly and privately evaluated through parenting performance. A woman who is not highly involved may be judged as unnatural or selfish. A man who is moderately involved may be praised as a good dad. That cultural imbalance affects how we interpret love. So when people say mothers love more, part of what they may be seeing is that mothers are expected to love through constant service. Child maltreatment data complicates simplistic claims. A serious discussion must also address a difficult point. If mothers were automatically more protective, we would expect child maltreatment data to be simple. It is not. Federal child welfare data show that most identified perpetrators of child maltreatment are parents, because parents are the people most often responsible for children. In 2023, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention reported that more than 3/4 of perpetrators were parents, and 52% of identified perpetrators were female. The Federal Child Maltreatment 2023 report estimated 546,159 victims of child abuse and neglect in fiscal year 2023, with a national victimization rate of 7.4 per 1,000 children. It also estimated 2,000 child deaths from abuse and neglect. This does not mean mothers are more dangerous than fathers. It means women, especially mothers, are often the primary caregivers, and therefore have more exposure time and more responsibility for daily care. Neglect, which is the most common form of maltreatment, is often tied to poverty, stress, substance abuse, mental health, and lack of support. Because mothers are more often the custodial parent, they are also more often the parent investigated. But the maltreatment data should stop us from romanticizing motherhood as automatically safe and fatherhood as automatically risky. Both mothers and fathers can protect, both can harm. Children need safe adults, not gender myths. Father absence, a real issue, but not proof that fathers love less. One of the strongest arguments people use against fathers is father absence. Millions of children live apart from their fathers. That is a real social problem. Children who grow up without involved fathers can face higher risks, especially when father absence is combined with poverty, family instability, neighborhood disadvantage, and low social support. But we should be precise. Father absence is not always the same as father indifference. Some fathers abandon their children. Some are blocked by conflict with the mother. Some are incarcerated. Some are economically unstable. Some are working far away. Some are never given a clear father role. Some are involved but non-resident. The CDC-NCHS Father Involvement Report is useful because it distinguishes residential and non-residential fathers. It shows that fathers living apart from their children are generally less involved in some activities, but many still maintain contact and involvement. It also shows that education, race, ethnicity, and residential status shape father-child involvement patterns. The more accurate conclusion is, father absence is a major family structure issue, but it does not prove that fathers as a group are incapable of deep love. It shows that fatherhood is more vulnerable to separation, relationship breakdown, legal arrangements, and social expectations that define fathers as secondary parents. Are mothers more emotionally expressive? In many families, mothers are more emotionally expressive with children. They may say, "I love you," more often, comfort more quickly, ask more questions about feelings, and manage emotional details. Fathers may express love through play, teaching, joking, advising, solving problems, discipline, or provision. A child may interpret the mother's love as warmer because it is more verbal and physically comforting. A father's love may be less emotionally obvious, especially in cultures where men are taught to be stoic. This does not mean fathers love less. It may mean fathers are less socially trained or less socially permitted to express tenderness. Many men love deeply, but communicate love poorly. Some fathers only realize later that their children needed more emotional language, not just provision. A child cannot always feel love that is never expressed. A father may love his child deeply, but if that love is only expressed as discipline, money, or sacrifice, the child may not experience it as warmth. That is not an argument against fathers. It is an argument for helping fathers become more emotionally expressive and present. Mothers as primary caregivers, love or labor. One of the most important angles is whether we confuse maternal love with unpaid labor. Mothers often organize the child's life. Doctor visits, school forms, birthdays, clothing sizes, allergies, meals, homework, emotional crises, bedtime routines, and family communication. This is sometimes called the mental load of parenting. Because mothers carry more of that invisible labor, they may appear more loving and responsible. But some of that is not simply love, it is work. Often unpaid, under-recognized, and expected. A mother may love her child deeply, but she may also be exhausted by the expectation that she must be the default parent. A father may love his child deeply, but he may be trained to believe that helping is optional rather than central. The result is that mothers become experts through necessity, while fathers may remain less competent because they are not expected to practice as much. If we want fathers to be more nurturing, they need opportunity and responsibility. If we want mothers to be less overwhelmed, fathers must not be treated as assistants. They must be treated as full parents. Protective love may look different for sons and daughters. Another angle is how mothers and fathers may relate differently to sons and daughters. Mothers may be especially central in early emotional development for both boys and girls. They often teach emotional language, empathy, and relational awareness. Fathers may be especially important in modeling confidence, boundary setting, discipline, risk navigation, and male identity for sons. For daughters, fathers can shape expectations of male respect, safety, affirmation, and confidence. But we should avoid rigid stereotypes. Boys need nurturing from fathers and mothers. Girls need strength and protection from mothers and fathers. Children are healthiest when they receive both tenderness and structure from both parents. The deeper issue is not mother love versus father love, but whether children receive a complete emotional environment, affection, safety, discipline, encouragement, accountability, and belonging. Girls need strength and protection from mothers and fathers. Children are healthiest when they receive both tenderness and structure from both parents. The deeper issue is not mother love versus father love, but whether children receive a complete emotional environment, affection, safety, discipline, encouragement, accountability, and belonging. What children say they need. If we listen to children, the answer is usually not, "I need one parent to love me more." Children need reliability. They need to know who will show up. They need comfort when afraid. They need boundaries when they are impulsive. They need someone to notice when they are sad. They need someone to protect them from danger. They need someone to believe in them. They need someone to correct them without humiliating them. They need someone who will not disappear when life becomes inconvenient. Sometimes that person is the mother. Sometimes it is the father. Ideally, it is both. When children experience both maternal and paternal love, they often receive different but complementary gifts. Mother love may be experienced as closeness, comfort, and care. Father's love may be experienced as confidence, protection, and guidance. but either parent can provide either form when they are emotionally healthy and actively involved. So, are mothers more loving and protective than fathers? The most responsible answer is, mothers are more often the primary caregivers, the residential parent after family separation, and responsible for the daily emotional and practical labor of raising children. Because of that, maternal love and protection are often more visible, more continuous, and more measurable in daily life. But that does not prove that mothers are inherently more loving than fathers. The data also show that fathers are deeply important to children's emotional, academic, social, and developmental outcomes. When fathers are present, engaged, and nurturing, children benefit significantly. Father involvement is not an optional decoration, it is part of healthy child development. So the better conclusion is not, mothers love children more than fathers. The better conclusion is, mothers and fathers often express love differently because biology, social expectations, custody patterns, work roles, and family structures place them in different parenting positions. Children need the love, protection, and involvement of both parents whenever it is safe and possible. The debate should not be used to praise mothers by diminishing fathers, or to defend fathers by ignoring the enormous sacrifices mothers make. Mothers deserve recognition because they often carry the heavier daily burden of parenting. Fathers deserve accountability because too many children experience father absence or emotional distance. But fathers also deserve recognition because involved fathers change children's lives in powerful ways. The truth is not that one parent automatically loves more. The truth is that love must become behavior. Love is showing up. Love is feeding, teaching, protecting, listening, correcting, sacrificing, and staying. Love is not just biology. Love is responsibility repeated over time. A mother's love can be extraordinary. A father's love can be extraordinary. And a child should not have to choose which one matters more. The real question is not which parent loves more. The real question is, which adults are willing to consistently love, protect, and guide the child? That is the question that matters most.